Welcome to Lifing 101, a journey through life's experiences, challenges, and interpretations. An intriguing and soul-refining podcast that explores the countless twists of life. Get ready to be amused, enlightened, entertained, empowered, and inspired. Hosted by Tina C. Christian, your MC with the LPC, and guest co-host Laurenda McKinney, your MC with the PhD.
Welcome, lovely listeners, to an exciting episode of Lifing 101 podcast,
where we dive into life's little mysteries and offer you insights to help you lead a happier, more fulfilling life.
I'm your MC with the LPC, Tina C. Christian, navigating y'all through this journey up and down and all around on this emotional roller coaster we call life.
And I'm your MC with the PhD, Laurenda McKinney. So grab your favorite beverage, find a comfortable spot, sit back and relax while we embark on this restorative journey together.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening out there. So we've started our 2024 series of the Toxic Free 2024. And last week we talked about access denied, access not granted. So this week we want to talk about some of the toxic traits and red flags and things to look for in relationships, right?
Right. So we want to talk about the hell no's.
Yeah.
And the minute you see these things, take off running. Don't walk, but run.
Correct. All those red flags that half the time we know anyway, but we just kind of ignore them or act like we didn't see them because we don't want to.
Yeah, we think they're part of the circus or the concert, so we just kind of keep moving along with it.
Right. We're accepting this BS. So what are some of the toxic traits people should look for to run away from, or the red flags in relationships, whether it be with your family, friends, coworkers? What are some of those things we need to kind of address or look at?
I'd say a biggie probably is those manipulative people.
Oh, yeah.
They come camouflage real good, so you don't know if you crazy or they crazy.
Girl, people will manipulate you and they will gaslight you and have you thinking that you crazy or trying to sell you on some stuff that's not true.
Right. So you're in the padded room and they're free renting the city because they made you think that you needed to be hugging yourself when really they missed a few hugs as children.
Right. I know in those toxic or unhealthy relationships, I've experienced some in personal relationships, whether they be friends, family, or whatever, where people will try to make you believe that something's true that it's not. And so I look at that, and when I talk about that, I'm thinking about the gaslighting and how people try to tell you that the sky is black and you know damn well it's blue. Those type of things. But yeah, very manipulative, gaslighting. Some other things are such as selfishness?
Selfishness for sure.
Yes. We talked about that a little bit last week when we talked about the give and take relationships and how if you're not receiving or if the love is not being reciprocated and you're always the one that's giving and there's no take on your end and they're just taking, then they're probably pretty selfish. So those are some of the things that you need to look for. Selfishness. Yeah, definitely.
Right. And they're so selfish and they probably have been that way for the whole relationship. So it's the norm for you. So you no longer realize that they're doing it, but they're still doing it. Right. You're being the giver and they're being the taker.
Yeah. Some other things that we can probably look at is those that are being judgmental. Now, don't get it mixed up or confused with constructive criticism, because I know a lot of times people think, like for me personally, people would think that I'm being very critical or judgmental. However, I'm giving constructive criticism for those that I care about and love. So there is a difference. Now, people that are just judging you all the time, being very judgmental on any and everything that you do, or they're not accountable, or it's all about what you're doing, just you, they have no accountability. Those are the type of things that I'm talking about when I say being judgmental.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Those people that they wear their red shoes, but they tell you not to wear yours. It sounds so simple when I put it that way, but basically that's how basic it is. It's all right for them to do it, but you just better not, because you know that you shouldn't be doing that.
How that rap song goes, it's cool when you do it.
Yeah, it's cool when you do it. So you know those people, we all know some. And then those negative Nancy's.
Oh, God.
No matter what you do, is something that's negative about it. And you looking at them like, you have got to be exhausted from being so negative.
Negativity. Those people that live in the world where the glass is always half empty, that negative half feedback where everything is just always negative.
Right.
They never have anything positive. They're not looking at life in a positive aspect or looking at your relationship in a positive aspect, then that's probably going to be one of those toxic traits that are red flags you want to look out for, people.
Right. And they're so negative. I wonder if there is even a glass. Not that it's half empty. I just wonder if there's even a glass, if it's broken glass in their hand. I'm not sure where their glass is because they just always super negative.
Yeah, you have those people and you know who they are and y'all know who y'all were too. But again, that's a toxic trait to look for. Another thing is what?
I would say dishonesty.
Oh my God.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Like I said, I can't stand a dishonest person or a liar. I like to think that honesty always is the best policy.
It
so
is.
That's for me. If you're always lying about something, that's definitely a telltale sign or a toxic trait or a red flag that lets me know you're not someone that I can trust and it may not be a good relationship.
Right. And if you lie about small things, you'll lie about anything. So once I catch you in a lie, now our relationship is built on lies, basically, because I don't know what I can believe, which means it's really not a relationship.
Right. I feel like this. What is the point? What's wrong with telling the truth, as my son would say? But if it's life or death, yes, I could see that. But any other reason, like what reason do you have to lie? Why do people lie?
Really? You're a grown up. You have a right to do what you want to do. So what are you lying about? So if you're lying, you must not be secure with the decisions you're making or the things you're doing. Because otherwise you wouldn't lie. You would just tell the person, yeah, I did it.
Correct. Yes. So definitely something to look out if you have a liar, pants on fire, or somebody that's being dishonest.
All the time.
Yes, definitely a toxic trait. Another thing is jealousy. We know that. However, I know that me personally, when I was younger, I had a hard time understanding and accepting that and seeing it in people that I cared about and loved. But it is true and it's real and it exists. People, you have people that may be jealous and or envious of you and or your life and the things that are going on for you. And so even though they may seem like they're in your corner, however, they're kind of secretly envious of your life or the successes that you've made. Pay attention to those things that, like when you succeed, they're not, sharing in your joy.
Yeah, they're not clapping for you. They clap for everybody, but they don't clap for you.
Yeah, so pay attention to that. I think jealousy and envious, they kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. So definitely look for those. Those are red flags. If they're not your cheerleader when you feel like they should be, then that may be something that you need to look at. Yeah,
and it's so dangerous to be around jealous people. It's very dangerous. That's why they say that friends can be your worst enemy because they've been around you long enough to know a lot of stuff about you. And were they really your friend or were they really jealous the whole time? So, you know what I mean, with all my watching TV and episodes.
Get off Lifetime.
It was this was a episode, I think, of Catfish. And then the girl was playing like she was the interest and she claimed to be that girl's best friend.
Right.
But she was still upset because that girl had took some boyfriends in high school. So she was pretending to be the love interest of the other girl. And the girl had broke off her good relationship for this. That was fake because her so-called best friend was doing it. But it was more jealousy.
Right.
She was jealous of that girl and the people that she had stole from her. And she had somebody else. And then she played this game with her. But at the end, I mean, I guess they was able to squash it. I wouldn't.
Well, luckily they were, because I can remember my mom telling me about one of her friends and her daughter had actually been, I guess you would call it murdered, because her and her best friend were out at a club and she was so jealous of her friend because she was getting all the dances, getting all the attention. And the best friend actually sat there, watched her drink and put some Visine or something in her drink. And she ended up I guess so much or something. She ended up killing the girl and that was her best friend. But because she was so jealous of the attention and, the attraction that she was getting from other people, that she was willing to do something like that. So even being her so-called best friend, you really have to be careful and pay attention to those red flags because people will show you who they are. You have to believe them.
You have to believe them.
The first time.
Yeah, that's why I say it's so dangerous. The jealousy thing is very dangerous and you have to pay attention to it. And don't always think that people are only jealous of you because of material things.
No.
People can be jealous of you just because of the way other people like you or love you. So just remember remember, you may look at yourself and go, what is she jealous of? I don't even have a nice car. I don't even have a nice house. Maybe it's your energy.
It's your favor sometimes. I know favor ain't fair. And so a lot of times I have to sit and say, people, maybe they look at you and they're envious or jealous because of your favor or because of how you deal with certain situations, or that you're able to deal with your downfalls and things like, they're like, how does she always come back? Yeah. How does she always keep going? Or, I have people ask me a lot of times, how do you keep your sanity? How do you keep going? Yeah. You never know who may be envious of the fact that even though your life has been hell and you're running through hell with gasoline draws on, you still manage to bounce back. That's envious, because people are like, well, I can't do it, or I would have been done lost my mind. Yeah. You'd be surprised not who many, that's a new word, how many or who are really envious or jealous of the fact that you're able to manage and bounce back. Your resilience is envious.
Yes.
So definitely look for that. Another thing I like to think of is lack of empathy. Lack of empathy from people that are supposed to be in your corner, your friend, your whoever, if they lack empathy. And what I mean by that is I know of a person, I'm not going to tell people who they are, but there was this one particular situation where this one person, her best friend, had contacted her and told her about some stuff that she was going through. And she pretended to be empathetic. And when she hung up the phone, she laughed. And so that made me think and feel and realize that was a lack of empathy. This person is either envious, jealous, or manipulative, or whatever. They're not that real friend.
They don't really like you.
Yeah. And so I'm wondering, like, damn, does this person actually know that this is how you feel about them? And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is your friend. What's so damn funny?
Yeah. And then I'm thinking, if you do it to them, you'll do it to me.
Correct. So that lack of empathy for when people are going through certain situations, whether it be you or others, pay attention, because they may not even say it to you or about you, but they may be talking about someone else. Yeah. And so sometimes people that lack empathy, you guys, they are sociopaths. They're psychopaths. So some people don't have the ability to have that empathy, but a lot of times when you have like these narcissistic people or these sociopaths, people don't realize it because they're very charming. Yeah. But they lack the empathy to even have that kind of care and concern for others. So be careful with that. But if you notice, not even just with you, but with other people, they're lacking that empathy, that's kind of dangerous as well. So that's a red flag.
That is a red flag. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Tina. What about that dysfunctional competition? Oh. Those people that compete with everything. And I just don't really feel like friends should be competing.
Ever.
I feel like if you got it, we got it. So I'm just happy.
It's us.
I am not that person that goes, oh my God, Tina got a new car. Let me go get one. For one, Tina ain't about to drive me into debt. Right. So I'm not, what I'm going to do is ride with Tina as much as possible. I don't need to get me one when Tina got one.
Right. I mean, and that's what friends are supposed to do. And others, I mean, you should be happy and celebrate, because like you said, when I win, you win. Yeah. I remember telling a friend of mine, like, girl, I want this Audi A8. She's like, girl, when you come pick me up.
Right.
That's what, friends should be
I'm a brag.
Ready. Correct. We got us
and I will. And I'm going to post pictures in front of it, on it, inside it, driving it, all that. But never once would I be like, oh, Tina got a new car. Now I need to get me one. Mm-hmm. I just don't thrive off that. I just don't. But I want my friends to shine because I feel like I'm shining.
Correct.
So there's just no reason to be competitive. And it really is dysfunctional, because it really can turn really ugly.
Yeah. And I mean, only person you should be competing with is yourself.
Exactly.
You should want to be the better person than you were yesterday or the day before, not your friends. I mean, and again, if you're friends, you should be able to uplift each other. Right. Whether it's a friend, a spouse, a family member, it should be all about love and lifting one another up, and we can all grow and go,
Yeah. You're going to lose a bunch of sleep trying to keep up with everybody else, or quote, keep up with the Joneses.
Correct.
Because that just should not be what you do with anyone, especially not your friends or people that are in your circle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So speaking of those people that are being very dysfunctional, playing victim. In my counseling profession, I would tell people all the time, I can't stand people that live in victimhood.
Right.
Some people love to live in victimhood. They are always the victim.
Yeah.
You always wrong them. They've always been the person that was wrong. No. If you have someone that's always complaining about being wronged by everything and everybody and or you, and they're always playing victim, that's a toxic trait. And that's definitely a telltale sign and a red flag that this person is not somebody I can have a healthy relationship
Right. And then they're the common denominator in all the stories. So.
Correct. You victim in everything.
Are you the victim or are you victimizing? Now let's get this diagnosis straight. Are you victimizing or are you the victim?
Playing victim, boy. But some people, I mean,
they got it down.
Really love that.
Yeah.
That's the attention-seeking behaviors that they want. They want to play victim and woe is me so that you can always be there in comfort and cut it out, knock it off.
Right. And I still, and I live with I don't know where I read it or seen it or heard it, but the first time you complain, you get a right to tell me that something happened one time. The next time, come with a resolution or don't mention it to me. So you cannot come to me and keep crying about the same thing or the same person. Yeah, because why you still hanging with the same person then? Why you got 13 stories when you really should only have 2 about that person? Because the first time you should have let them do that to you because you didn't know. The second time, there shouldn't be no times after that. So if you're playing the victim, you literally are playing because you are giving this too much energy and time.
Right. So speaking of those people that are always playing victim and always got something to tell that's negative, and like you said, they're actually victimizing people. When you feel very insecure around these people sometimes, that may be a telltale sign that it's a toxic relationship or a toxic trait or a red flag. If they're making you feel insecure, whether it's being by them always playing victim, or whether they're being negative or selfish or manipulative or dishonest or acting jealous or envious or always competing with you. Or criticizing you, because that's another one, but there is a difference between constructive criticism and just straight criticism. And we really have to know the difference because, like I said, I'm a very critical person, meaning that if I love you and I care about you, I'm going to tell you the things that I see. I'm not just talking about you. I'm trying to help you. I'm going to help you grow. We're going to talk about, like you said, solutions.
I'm not just,
what can we do to fix it? No, girl, I'm looking at this and other people are looking at, and how can, we become or help you become a better person, not just trying to talk down or demeaning or degrading people, but real criticism, that's not healthy.
And then when you say you feel very insecure, like, do I have to water myself down to be around you?
That too.
Am I really turn your smart off? It's time to play special.
Because again, everybody's not going to celebrate you. Some people may feel insecure because of your knowledge or education, your level. I've had people to say stuff like that. Oh, you think you all that because you have so many degrees. No, excuse me, ma'am, sir, you said it. You must feel that way.
I'm thinking you think I'm all that.
Right. So you're trying to make me feel a certain kind of way about my education.
You're trying to make me guilt about all these $100,000 of student loans I got.
Correct.
No, ma'am. I am going to act like I have these degrees.
Especially since I got to pay for all this shit.
You don't get to make me feel. I'm not going to water myself down. And that's not saying that I'm going to be around making people feel uncomfortable, but I do not believe you should water yourself down.
Never.
When you say feeling very insecure, I know people say that sometimes people are the ones you have to constantly, it's okay, you all right. The ones you constantly reassuring or patting on the back, but you should not have to, I shouldn't have to make myself feel like I can't be my true self around you to make you feel comfortable. Because if you're not comfortable, is that my problem or is that your problem?
Right. Or the people that's always blaming. Like I said, they're not accountable. They're always blaming you and everyone else. It's never them. It's always you or somebody else. They're the common
denominator. They're in all the stories.
Correct. So if they're always blaming everyone or always blaming you, take a look at that. That may be a red flag or a toxic trait that you may not want to be around, or even that entitlement.
Oh my
God. I know.
God.
Now, not confusing it with our children that are entitled these days.
Yeah, because this generation is coming up. They are very entitled.
But just, the adult relationships that you have with people when they feel like they're so entitled.
Yeah.
Or it could even be the siblings, the parents, because I find a lot of that in families.
It is. They feel like you should do it for them. That's the role.
You're obligated.
Yeah. So you're this role in their life. So why wouldn't you do that? Well, we got to keep in mind, nobody owes you anything. I don't even care if it's family. They don't owe you anything.
Right.
Anything they do for you is out the kindness of their heart because they don't have to. They do not have to. Your parents, they do to a certain extent, but anything else is a bonus.
Correct.
So thinking that people have to do things for you, or have those expectations.
A sense of entitlement.
Yeah, you should not. You should be very grateful. And every time they do something for you, you should be overjoyed because they do not have to do that for you.
I had somebody to tell me one time, well, since somebody's doing this for you, then shouldn't you do this for me? So you mean to tell me that since I had some sort of fortune, then you're supposed to have one. Why do you feel so entitled? That's entitlement.
And please turn to the page of the Bible that said what you just asked me, because evidently you read it somewhere, and I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm just saying I want to read it too.
Right.
So please turn to the book of the Bible, please.
Correct. And so when we're talking about entitlement, that kind of brings me up on boundaries. When people don't have healthy boundaries, these entitled people, they generally don't have boundaries.
Right.
They have unhealthy boundaries, or they try to push. I've had situations, even I'm going to be honest, I don't have nothing to hide. My mama, she had boundary issues for so long, and to the point where she would always pop up over my house and come and knock on my, and I'm like, I don't have to answer my door. I'm grown, and if I'm busy and you didn't call and I didn't expect you, that's a boundary issue.
It is.
To the point where I had to just keep leaving her sitting outside so she could see, and it was not no disrespect to my mom, because I love, but it's like, Mom, you have to respect the fact that I'm asking you, and please honor my wishes. And if I tell you that please call before you come, then you should. But if you have people that are testing and always pushing the boundaries, or don't have boundaries, or disrespecting, or just won't accept the fact that you have boundaries, that could be a very unhealthy relationship.
How do you enforce them So say your mom, say every time she came, you let her in, but you said, Mom, don't do that again.
Right.
So how would you ever set those stern boundaries if you never enforce them?
Because they know you.
Yeah, because she's going to be like, she said it, but she didn't. Exactly.
She didn't mean it. So if you have people that are testing your boundaries with whatever it be, it doesn't have to be just coming over to your house.
Exactly. And only people that will not respect you will get upset about boundaries.
Correct.
Because anybody that's healthy-minded, they understand it's okay for somebody to tell me what they like and what they dislike, because that's what it's all about.
Right.
Is what I like, what I dislike, and what my expectations are. And if I'm not doing it to you, by no means should you be doing it to me. I would never pop up over anybody's house without calling them first, because for one, I don't know what I'm going to pop up on.
Right.
For two, that just would seem weird to just be driving and go, wait a minute, I'm going over Tina's. Like,
pop up and find that dude on a baby boy. Y'all want some of these eggs?
I have a standing appointment with Tina every Tuesday. I have a standing appointment with her every Tuesday. And every Tuesday, I text and I say, what?
I'm
on my way.
Yes.
Because that gives her a chance to say, hell no, not right now.
Right.
I got to put my panties back on or whatever is going on.
Yes.
But I never just say, Tina, no, I'm coming on Tuesdays. I always fire that warning shot like, Tina, I'm on my way. Sometime during the day, I'll be like, we good, friend? I'm coming over.
Yes.
Are we still on? Or something like that.
It's a level of respect.
Yeah, it is. So just, you cannot be the person that say, screw your boundaries. You don't get to do that. Because if you do that with me, you're going to find out real quick, boy, she really believes in boundaries, because I'm just not going to play that game with you.
Yes. So boundaries, people, pay attention to people that test, push, or disrespect,
exactly.
or just don't honor your boundaries at all.
Right. They want to challenge them.
And that brings me to the thing that I was speaking of earlier, like narcissistic people or narcissism. Pay attention to that. Those people that they could care less about what you say, what you feel, your boundaries, or anything, and they think they're superior. The people that that are narcissistic, they believe that they're better than anyone else. They have this sense of grandiosity, and you're beneath them, you're inferior, they're superior, and pay attention to that. That's a red flag. You know, so if somebody's not valuing you or make you feel like they're always degrading you or making you feel like they're superior, that's a toxic trait. Pay attention to that.
And those people that talk to you condescendingly, I had somebody do that to me on the phone, and I could have had, oh my boy, if I could have drove to that person, I would have. Yeah, you cannot be condescending with me. Please don't do that.
I cannot stand that. I'm like, for one, you insult my intelligence.
And that's my biggest thing.
That's my big thing. Don't talk condescending to me.
Yeah.
Don't patronize me. Don't talk condescending.
And don't pet me.
Go. Yes.
Don't pet me.
By no means. By no means.
I'm a full-grown individual. There's no need for that.
Yeah. So those people and those things, pay attention. There is some toxic, trait there going on. So pay attention to that.
Yeah, but Tina, what about those people with them insincere apologies? They apologize just enough to get back in the door. Like they like, I'm sorry, and then they over your house, and 30 minutes later you're like, why the hell did I accept this fake apology? Because they've done it 1,000 times. Yeah, it's almost like they have the apology wrote down and they go read it to tell you the apology for the 943,000 times.
Or keep apologizing for the same stuff.
Exactly.
You didn't mean it, because if you did, you wouldn't keep doing it. So
and just like I said last week, change behavior is the best apology.
Correct. You don't have to even always say it, but show me.
Yeah.
If you really cared about what you did, especially if you keep doing the same thing, you wouldn't keep doing it.
Yeah.
If you would show me, you would make some sort of change, or being attempting to, or trying or something. But insincere apologies, those are definitely toxic traits.
Those definitely are toxic traits, because that's also a sign of being controlling.
Ooh.
You literally know exactly what to say to control the situation to get back in.
Yeah. Controlling behaviors are very toxic and very much a red flag, especially in romantic relationships.
Yeah, that's not a sign of love.
That can be a form of domestic abuse.
It is.
People don't realize that, and we're not really going to be on relationships today. We're just kind of touching on toxic traits and red flags and things to look at in all relationships. But controlling behaviors can be very dangerous as well.
They are.
In toxic or platonic or whatever type of relationship.
They are.
Be careful. Pay attention.
They really are, because before you know it, you're skipping to the beat of somebody else's drum, and you're doing it so well, they recognize that you're doing it, and they keep playing it to their benefit.
Correct. So definitely an issue. Some other things that I can think of, possibly arrogance.
Oh my God. Everything you do is beneath me. Oh my God. Is that Tina with that same shirt on again? I would never wear that. And I don't even think it has a name brand on it.
Yeah. Arrogant people. If you're around someone and you feel like they're being very arrogant, then that may be a red flag. Another one that I won't talk about a lot on today, because again, I feel like that falls into another category.
Right.
Gossiping.
Yes.
If you have friends that are always gossiping about other friends, then that could be a toxic trait. If they're saying stuff always about them, what are they saying about you? And or family members, if they're
what
talking
they do
about
with
other
you,
family
they'll do
members,
to you.
What are they saying? So pay attention to that red flag, as well as what else we got? What else you think?
But let me hit on some with that gossiping. Let me tell y'all something real fast. I'm going to spit y'all something real good. Gossiping and fact speaking are two different things.
Okay.
Because if what I'm saying can be proven in a court of the law,
then it is not.
That is not gossiping.
Yeah,
I'm just stating the obvious.
Yeah, and also, like, say for instance, if you're speaking to another family member or another friend, or you have like a mutual friend and you're talking about something that you think may be an issue with your other friend or other family member, and you guys are talking about how you can help or intervene, that's different.
Right.
We're not, but when I say gossiping, I'm saying
that can be hurtful.
Correct. Or you just have no good intentions.
Yeah.
They're just talking about.
Yeah.
They're not looking for solutions, or it's not coming from a place of love. As my friend was like, Tina, now this is all in love. If it's not coming from a place of love or intervention or meaning well, or they have bad, then that's, we're talking about that type of gossip.
Those people that say things that come back to bite people and hurt them real bad.
Right.
Like you're saying things that's not true about them taking care of their kids or things like that. Those are things that can cost people big time. Mm-hmm. So anytime that you see people that's gossiping for that one up so they can be up one over somebody else, that's the toxic thing. But if you're stating facts and if you're trying to come up with intervention or something like that, that's different. So just make sure that you understand those different things.
Right. Some of the other things, negative self-talk. So if people are always talking negative about themselves or beating themselves up, and I don't mean like, okay, we can all be our worst critic.
Right.
So yeah, we may say like, some minor things, but I'm saying like really negative things about themselves and looking for you to kind of comfort them and build them up and stuff like that. That can really be a toxic trait.
Yeah. I was going to say it's so bad that it starts making you feel uncomfortable. Like if you just really sitting here, I'm just sitting here going, oh my God, my hair. Yeah. Oh, look at it, Tina.
Yes.
And then I put on these pants and these shoes. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, girl, you go home. We'll do this another day.
Yes. But the people that are always like, oh my God, I'm just so stupid. Or, oh my God, I'm just so this. Or, oh my God, I just can't do anything right. Or, oh my God. Those are kind of toxic traits. And pay attention to that stuff because that can really be a red flag. Just pay attention. Ask questions. Yeah. Understand where that's coming from because you may have some people that may have some mental issues that are,
they may be looking for, they may be looking for
crying
help.
for help or whatever. But if you get those people that are just really attention seeking and really aren't, that's different. Woe is me type of pity parties and just wanting to drain you and attention and seeking. That's different. So you may have some people that really feel that way and are asking and crying out for help. Or you may have those people that are just using that to their advantage to kind of get you to do and accommodate them.
Yeah, I was going to say, or see what they can get out of you.
Correct.
Where you feel so bad about them talking.
What can I do?
Yeah, what can I do to help you? And before you know it, your bank account is drained. And they still in your face talking negative, trying to see what else they can get.
Correct. So pay attention to that. Or what about the passive-aggressive behaviors?
Oh, my God. That passive-aggressive behavior is draining.
Oh, my goodness.
It really is. I'd rather just have the aggressive person or the...
Be one or the other.
Yeah,
choose one.
To be honest, I don't want the passive person because passive is just so nice and understanding about everything. Naive. Yeah, I don't really like that. Be aggressive with me, hell. I take the aggressive.
I don't want either one. I don't want you to be too damn passive and I don't want you to be too damn aggressive. I don't like passive aggressive behavior. I believe in assertiveness. Right. So I always say, no, you don't have to be passive. You don't have to be aggressive. Just be assertive. You know? But if you notice that people are always being passive aggressive with you or just acting like real kind of timid, but then always kind of lashing out at you or something. I don't know. I can't really give a specific.
You know what I call passive aggressive people? I call them nicey. Because you know what they do? They try to act like they being nice, but they being nasty, and they are well aware.
And stuff.
They well aware that they're being nasty. Yes. But they want people to think that they're so sweet, so they play this game. But I just don't like passive aggressive because I feel like when you're doing that, you're really trying to make people feel dumb.
Right.
You really are because you know exactly what you're doing. But I summarize them as being nasty. Yeah, like they're pretending to be nice, but really they're being nasty. And they want to make sure that they're being nasty to you, but that you kind of think, oh, maybe they didn't mean it that way. Nah, your ass meant it that way. And I checked it out and I took a note. And I also took a picture of my note. So next time you do it, I'm going to bring it up.
Because I'm like sitting here trying to think of, some examples or, actual events that I could kind of tie to it without talking about people in particular.
Right.
Or they'd be like, no, she didn't. What she talking? No, she. Oh, I'm about to snatch her ball. But I'm not going to call anybody out, friends, family, or clients. However, some of the things that like we were talking about, condescending, low blows, snide remarks, or something me and you were talking about earlier, people bringing up stuff later.
Waiting for the appropriate time to try to come back.
They had a problem with something you said or did at the time, but they didn't talk about it, but they wait to try to get a comeback.
Yeah, they done fouled it away.
Yeah,
and you even shocked.
Yeah, you're like, where the hell that come from?
I never thought you was the fouler aware. Look, I done created another word, the fouler aware. I didn't even know that you was the fouler aware until you just brought up that. Yeah. So you sat back, you seen it and sat back and you
waited.
And then you brought it up.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely they want to try to express, some sense of anger or disapproval or whatever in a indirect way.
Exactly. And it's so silly. If something bothers you, it
just speak your mind. See, I'm very direct.
Yeah.
I'm very outspoken and very you're going to always know what the hell I'm thinking. So again, that gets on my nerves. That's why I say I don't like passive people and I don't like aggressive people, because passive, again, speak your mind. Exactly. Say what the hell's on your mind. Being aggressive, no. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You don't have to be aggressive with me. Just be assertive.
Right. And then they probably low-key be trying to, sabotage stuff.
Right.
So they sitting back like, just a little nice, just a little nasty, and then they make their move. So yeah, that's very toxic. Yeah. That is.
So I think we've really given a lot of different toxic traits and red flags that you guys can really look at and look for. If you have some others that you can think of and that you want to share, of course, as we always say, feel free to leave us a comment, a voicemail, text, or whatever on our social media platforms, on our voicemail or website, send an email. We would love to hear from you, even though we haven't got a lot of response on comments and things. But if you know some toxic traits that you are aware of and that you can't stand or that really chafe your hide, share with us.
Yeah, that really make you uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I know that we're laughing and joking about them, like I always say, but this is serious. Because if you're trying to have relationships with people with these traits, and these are unhealthy traits. So if you're trying to have relationships with these people, that relationship is unhealthy. Yeah. So there's two choices. Either the people need to work on themselves, or you probably need to cut ties.
Right. Again, red flags, toxic traits. Know the difference of these things and be aware. And when people show you who they are, you better believe them the first time. And know that there are healthy and unhealthy relationships. So which one are you in? So, and until next time, people, stay hopeful
and stay curious.
Before we part ways, we invite you to share your own stories, thoughts, and reflections with us. Connect with us on social media, reach out through our website, or simply leave a comment on your preferred podcast platform. Feel free to leave us in voicemail at 816-607-1243 with any thoughts, concerns, or questions that you'd like shared on Lifing 101 or just answered or addressed. If you prefer to send us an email, feel free to do so by sending it to our website, lifing101pod.com, or send us an email to info@lifing101pod.com. Your insights and experiences enrich our shared understanding of this incredible journey we're all a part of. Please subscribe to this podcast and follow our website, lifing101pod.com, and find and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Stay hopeful, stay curious, and keep embracing the vibrant, unpredictable, and awe-inspiring journey that we call life. Goodbye for now, and may your days be filled with endless wonder.